This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the Transformers Legacy Evolution G2 Universe Grimlock. This Grimlock is actually based on an unused color concept. The actual Grimlock that they released back in the Generation 2 era was blue, and supposedly there are also some silver ones released at the same time, but the original release was blue. I think Snarl was red, and Slag/Slug was green. And the reason why I was willing to pick this one up is because he was on clearance at Walmart. Because I'm not a big fan of this one, but it is a Grimlock, so the side kind of gives us a little bit more Grimlock-ish artwork. Me, Grimlock hungry. I don't know what the hell that voice was. On the back of the box, we do see the product shots of Grimlock in robot mode and Grimlock in beast mode, making him look like a tiger color-wise. So let's open this sucker up. I wonder if it'll actually be Grimlock. Alright, that's a much brighter yellow than I was honestly expecting from this toy. I thought it was going to be more of an orange. His gun apparently is the same color as their previous release. So as always with Hasbro products, we get this multi-language mess. We have our instructions, which are very much colorized in this color scheme that they used on the Walmart exclusives. Because G2 had a different style of Autobot symbol than the original Generation 1 did, they've got this. I don't know if this sticker was on. Well, obviously, I don't think this sticker was on the original Grimlock. The original G2 Grimlock came with all the same crap that the original Grimlock did. But again, this was an alternate color scheme that did not get used, so maybe that actually was something over the. But then the Autobot symbol was a sticker in the original Grimlock, and the Studio Series Grimlocks actually have it carved out inside. So let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation on this guy when he's in robot mode. We have a ball joint that allows us to look down quite a bit. Also, the neck does have this little hinge part, so you can really get him looking down if you want to try. But you can turn the head around. It will spin all the way around. Aside from using the hinge there for transformation purposes to give him some really good look, he only has really a minimum of it with the ball joint itself. His arms hinge outward. There is a bicep cut. And we have a single joint, which gives us a better than 90, which is kind of cool, especially considering that that's not used in transformation, really. Well, I guess technically it can be, but there are some issues with that too. The wrist does have a spin, but I think that has more to do with the design of the transformation than anything else. I think it would have been nice if they designed... One of the things I always thought was kind of weird about Grimlock, even in the G1 toy, was that his feet, claws, they fold in like that. But I kind of wish they would have just made it so that they folded all the way back on the Studio Series. Technically, it might not be accurate, but I think it would have looked better. And I don't mind subtle improvements. What's weird to note, though, is that he's got the standard Autobot logo here instead of the more stylized G2 Autobot logo. So that seems to be a mistake that they made. It's also the upside down version of that one is used as the Decepticon logo in the Robots in Disguise universe. He does have a full spin at the waist, but no ab crunch. His legs will kick forward very far and will kick back very far. These skirt pieces around him are actually part of the joint, so they don't interfere at all. Or I guess what would be the skirt pieces on a lot of other Transformers. He can also kick out, and kind of looks like he's getting ready to do some breakdancing, to be honest with you. We do have a thigh cut, so we can spin it all around. He does have a knee. Without messing with the transformation joints at all, we can get a pretty decent, not quite 90-degree there. We could open up, though, the joint and really get more of a... Actually, I guess it does go the same amount either way, because it gets caught up back here. But with the joint, if you mess with it a little bit, you can kind of increase the momentum or the pose a little bit more. Then at the feet, we do have a rocker joint. And we can curl the back toe. The back toe. We can we can hinge the heel there. So, as anybody who's watched previous Transformer videos that I have done can attest, I do not really look at the instructions before I try to transform. And I feel like I hinder myself by not only attempting to describe what I'm doing, but I think it also throws me off. So, if you want to see the proper transformation step by step with somebody telling you how to do it, Prime versus Prime would be the prime example of that. Whereupon I am going to fart around with this thing right now in front of you all and see if I can get them into Dino mode. And I think I'll actually try not to talk unless something happens, so I can just speed up the process a bit if I want. I gotta say, I think that is the smoothest transformation I have done during a review ever when it comes to Transformers. Although if I ever actually got around to posting any of the core classes, but even then I sometimes screw those up. But here we got Grimlock in his Dino mode. I don't know. I think I would have liked a darker yellow used on this if they're going to do this. Aside from, I would have preferred just the blue one that they released originally in the toy line. They did that whole concept thing with all of the Walmart ones, Walmart exclusives, I should say. Because they had a weird looking Jazz instead of the G2 Jazz, and I think Mirage had a really messed up looking. They all look nuclear, you know, like somebody threw a fluorescent paint bomb at them. But I think I did a pretty good job transforming it. Now, this is the one thing that I will say that I wish Hasbro could have taken care of here. And maybe it would have been just as simple as cheating a bit, and instead of having like have this actually reversed. Of course, in order to do that, though, they would have needed to have created a panel here. Because unfortunately, though we can kind of get a knee bend here, So like that, like we can almost get him walking, which I guess technically with a T-Rex it should be upright like this. We can't do anything with the front leg we can't get it to bend forward because, if you want to kind of do a walking stance with him, you have to reverse the leg. Which is honestly too bad. Like, I wish they'd come up with something that would have worked for this a little bit better. And honestly, it might have just been having a panel that slid into place here. Or, now bear with me, they could have done what the original Transformers did and had the foot solid and just have it slide out and lock into place. The fist, that is. But articulation wise, for our buddy Grimlock here, there is a spin at the neck on the T-Rex, which, by the way, they do have like kind of the little detailing in there to go along with the way the original Grimlock was, although it should be kind of silver. Or I should say, what was it? The original Grimlock toy, and I don't know, had a smoky plastic, but underneath it was a, the metallic coated detailing. Vac metal is the word I'm looking for. It had the vac metal on the neck. His arms, of course, there's a ball joint here at the actual shoulder, which allows it to move around and give it a little bit of ability to slide in and out. There is just a hinge at the elbow and no hinge at the fingers. His jaw opens and closes for us. And there is a peg inside of his mouth there that would allow you to put a blast effect in place. And again, although you could technically move his knee, you can't really do much to actually position it. I guess we can kind of do this. And still have it a little bit walky looking. You can still spread his legs out, and he falls down like that. Look. We're going to turn Grimlock into a triple changer with a really awful fan transformation. We have Jet Grimlock. Couldn't help myself. Now, it is kind of weird to me, though, that this orange is a different color, or this yellow, for this joint. And I don't know if that has something to do with, like, obviously it's probably a different plastic than what's used on the rest of it. But I wonder if that's also some discoloration from age already. I guess it's hard to tell if a yellow transformer is yellowing. And of course we have Grimlock's gun, which I did nothing with in the previous segment here. It is the same gun that came with the regular Studio Series 1. It's loosely based off of the G1 gun. And in Beast mode, oh, okay. It pegs into the two slots in the feet. Theoretically, it posts into the two spots in the feet. Like so. So my one pet peeve, and I know part of the problem is that Generation 1 Transformers weren't designed to hide all their equipment. Although Optimus Prime could in this trailer. Most of them didn't even have a spot to put the weapons. But I wish they could do a better job working the weapons into the alt modes so that they don't look so, one, out of place, and two, like a weapon. Granted, this is a mechanical dinosaur, so you're not exactly going to hide. I just think it would have been nice if, like, maybe there was a way to fit it in the tail. I don't think it's just pretty solid, so that wouldn't work anyway. Um, Oops, and I just pulled his arm out of the socket. Yeah, there's not enough room in there either to try to hide it. So I don't know what you would do exactly. And and as much as I am not a big fan of when they design the weapons to split apart and come back together, Grimlock's weapon was a double barrel gun, so you could have done that, and then maybe worked it in there so that it could attach to his legs. Because when it's just back here, it just looks awkward. Me, Grimlock, hungry! And there we go, his gun in his hand. One thing I do have to give Hasbro credit for, especially with like the dinobots or Grimlock specifically, they did manage to fill in the legs, so there's not a whole lot of hollow gaps here, which has been one of the consistent issues with the more recent Transformers in the last like 10 years. You know, his thighs are perfectly solid too. The only really hollow spot we get is this, which again, if they had gone ahead and put a, just made that a solid piece and had it be a slider in there, not only could it have worked to fill in the gap, it also would have allowed us to do that thing in Dino mode where we could have had the other leg reversed, or we could have had the reversed, so we could do a more walking pose. Also, just to note here, I think most people refer to these as his wings, kind of in robot mode. There is a peg on them, so you can lift them and lower them. So you can kind of put them in whatever kind of pose you want in the back. And because of the way pretty much every Dinobot was designed, almost all of them had those kind of little wings, which is, as a kid, when you watch Generation 1, you kind of think that that's the reason why Grimlock and the Dinobots can fly while the rest of the Autobots couldn't. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at Grimlock. So I'm not a big fan of the color scheme, and just another bit to note, I think I would have liked it better if they had gone ahead and made his head this same color here and just made the eyes silver instead. I feel like the silver head just kind of stands out as being a little bit silly. Or maybe they could have used this blue here and used the purple as the eye color. Or they could have used the purple and had the silver as the eye color. Or I do have some photo editing software, so maybe I can mess with that a little bit and see how those would have looked. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And I apologize if I disappointed anybody for not having a whole lot of troubles trying to transform this guy. It has been a while since I did transform the original studio series, so I wasn't sure I could do it correctly, and apparently, on a rare moment, I was able to. And just between you and me, I've tried to retransform the Tetra Jets from War from Cybertron, and I can't figure out how to do it. Peace and love.